It's a good thing that it's Saturday, it's a youth month, and I'm quite happy to see so much youth here as well. Because the future is also about those who sacrifice their weekend and come and say here. I'm hoping that most of you will remember this day as you move in your own career, because we have all had some opportunities like this. I remember, almost 3.5 decades back, I was sitting in a room like this, invited by one of the companies, and then I've seen things. Then I've realized that day that this country's got opportunities. And I'm hoping that today, as we move, you will also be left with that to say there's so much opportunities that we are not seeing. So I'm quite indebted to my brother Lincoln and the foundation, and also to Henley for giving the youth the opportunity to come together and share with the rest of us who are in the industry. Because we once said that's where you are sitting as well. So there is nothing really special about myself or about any of us who are here. But the issue is that when opportunities are there, it's how much you go and how hungry are you as an individual to seize the opportunity to make this first sacrifice, of a Saturday afternoon and be here. And it's up to you then to make it count as we move forward. I know we've got a limited times, but I'm hoping that you've seen that picture. It's a really bright picture of our continent. But when you can really go back and look deeply in our continent is still very dark. It is extremely dark. So the job is then for you, because we're not going to be here forever. We are now, see this as the start of the button to say, what is it that is still needed to light this continent so that it be like that? For me, the darkness that is there, that is the first opportunity that I want to live with you. That's right there. You should start saying, wow, there's so much opportunity for us. Don't see the issue of today's unemployment as a hindrance, because you might have not seen what is there. If you recall this country, those of you, I think most of you were not here in 1994 when we transitioned. Some of you were still in primary schools, wherever you were. Or all of I remember very well, I was in my early years of the workplace, We had 35% power in this country. And those of you like myself who grew up in the rural areas, the candle. Some of you might not even know what is the candle and the paraffin light. You might not even know those things. You can't connect to it. You can't relate to it. But for us, those are the things that have built our history, to say we had this burning desire. When you come to the big city like Johannesburg, you go to Durban, you see the lights. You go to the township next to it is dark. You have this burning thing in you to say, what can we do so that every child in this household can have power? There was the opportunity. And it took the giant company like Eskom. I look at the companies in this country, I've not come across the company that does what this company is doing. In all sectors, you can go to mining sectors, they stand on top of Eskom. Interact with banking. So the spectrum is big. There was a great vision that says we have electricity for everyone. From 35% not knowing how to get it. But that crafting of the future to say we need to have everyone in this country having electricity. Today we stand at over 96% electrification. 96%. Yeah, you can clap for that. But then you need to go and look at the continent. Is that enough? What does it help to be 96%? I mean, Mozambique, Lesotho is inside South Africa. What is the electrification there? What is Swaziland? That's the next evolution of power. And the 4% is very difficult. Why is it difficult? Because it talks to the poorest of our communities. The people will be saying, it's difficult to take the grid to Ekunu in the Eastern Cape or Kamashasha in Limpopo. That cannot be the thinking of the youth of today. The youth of today should be saying, how do we deal with those villages so that every child, if we want to have that vision that says every child in this country need to have power, it starts today with all of us to reflect. Doesn't matter where they are, because that's where the opportunities are as well. And the two things I'm going to talk to today is opportunities, resilience, and innovation. Because without innovations, we're not going to be able to, we will just give up and be comfortable in our comfort space. But that's not where, comfort is not going to create any job for the youth. It's when we really start to question ourselves and look at opportunities around ourselves that I think the statistics, you know about them in terms of what is the youth unemployment in this country. It's shocking. But talking about it is not going to make it disappear. It will need to start connecting what I'm saying, and it's up to us that those who come to us with the bright ideas, we will support them. Because we've got that opportunity to do that. We all know about 1976, what happened to the youth. Political freedom. The issues of economic freedom is what confronting all of us. I was quite happy to see the colleagues from the banking sector as well, that we are all confronted with this issue of economic freedom. But it will need a different approach for all of us, so that the banks and everyone can bring the money for the youth that come up with good ideas as well. So the issues of unemployment is well known in this country, but we need to tackle it. And I will share with you as well what we are trying to do at ESCOM, because while we've got this opportunity to serve, we must also use to make difference. And the difference is not going to those who are privileged. It must talk to the child, like I said, that is in deep Eastern Cape, is in the deep Northern Cape, that they all feel that they are part of this country. And we are quite privileged in ESCOM that I think we are the only company that touch every corner of this country. I mean every corner. You can go from the border of Namibia in the Northern Cape to the border of KwaZulu-Natal, this side in Mozambique. You will find some interaction with ESCOM in one way or other. So having had that, then it should be something that create opportunities for young people to connect with everyone. I think I talk about opportunities and innovation. The issue of that always troubled me as well. When you see the young people not at work, I always ask my colleagues to say, why do you still appoint someone who's got an N4 when there's someone with a PSc or a diploma sitting at home? That is something that I can't reconcile with. Because someone with an N4 is still got 2 years that we can send them to the college, at least finish N6. And that's the thinking we are trying now to inculcate, to say, I would rather have a graduate with a PSc working as a plant operator than sitting at home. And I think that's something that I've been saying to the team, to say, you would rather be a mechanic with your PSc degree than having nothing sitting at home, because that creates frustration for the young people. So we are talking about this just energy transition. So we are not only talking about power. ESCOM is not only about power. It's about energy, it's about also touching communities. And we connect with our communities. So how positively do we do that? We've been, when we are not saving the power, it was extremely bad. But we know that that's a temporary setback. We can't be consumed by that. The foresight, looking beyond these walls, is what sometimes gets missing. Then we spend so much time fighting about these walls, and then we're missing the opportunities that are out there. The issue of skills mismatch, the banks, I know they need finance people, they need people with economic skills, and then you find that the youth has got something else compared to that. What are those opportunities? What are the platforms? I think platforms like this create that space for the youth to also start saying what is out there and how you can, I'm not going to read all of this, I'm sure they would share with you, because there's one particular slide that I want to leave you with so that there is focus in terms of what I'm talking about, in terms of innovations and seizing opportunities, what it does. So, but the issue of skills mismatch, unemployment is a big issue for me. I mean, we talk about transitions. You all heard about the power station that we closed in Mpumalanga called Komati, one of our old power stations. Nothing is happening there. Remember that power stations, it doesn't only supply ESCOM employees. There's someone who was always next to the gate selling for the employees as they were coming in. Selling amakuinya, some people, the station people like to eat something. Now there's nothing to sell. That business is dead. Someone was transporting these employees from Emalahleni, from Middleburg, from Joburg to that power station. That transportation was part of the value chain of the economic issues of this country. Power station is closed, that business is dead. It's easy to say the ESCOM people, well, you are here, now we are opening Kusile, we are moving you to there. That is an easy decision, because if you're saying, I want to stay at Komati, we say, okay, you don't want the opportunity to stay there. But that person who was based here in front of the station, he doesn't have that opportunity. That's why when we talk about the transition, it must be just. It can't just be those that are connected to us. Then what do we do? So we started to change the way we look at the problem. Because as a company like ourselves, it's got impact into the youth, it's got impact to those communities that we talk to, and the price of electricity kept growing, unfortunately. And people are losing jobs. So you will see that innovation is one point that is blown out in this picture. Because I'm talking to youth now, to young people of the future, to say that is the only opportunities that will make the transition to be just in this country. And I'm quite convinced about it. Because through innovations, we will not see the problem. We will not see the transition as a problem. We will see it as an opportunity. And then what do we need to do? There's something, one of the, ESCOM is 102 years now, going forward. It's an old company. I'm sure some of you, you will listen to the people in the media saying, ESCOM is going to die, competition is going to come. And then sometimes it creates anxiety within the ESCOM family. But I decided to look at this differently. To say this competition that is coming, I'm sure the colleagues in the banks, they know, we've got IPPs and all of those things. I always tell the team, let's welcome that. When they say competition is coming, But I said we must use the understanding. He talks about Shaka and the great reader. They used to master their landscape. When the enemy can only come from here, and they don't know you've got a door there that you can come from them. You always need to develop your own competitive advantage and use it. But competition is good to know there's enemies around, because it keeps you on your toes. So you see there, we've put ash here as part of the things here. Ash, most of us who grew up in rural, we used to use what we call imbaula. You throw ash there, then it's a lost thing that you kick it up and But I want to give you a lesson today. Respect that ash. For 102 years in this company, we have not seen ash, as a critical commodity for the existence of this company until this transition came, until competition came. Now I'm very excited that ash is gonna be our next gold. We used to go to the mine, get coal and burn ash and leave it there. It created problems, environmentalists are gonna be our friends. The Minister of Environment gave us out of condition, but when we come and say we've got solution for it, because what happened with this transition and the competition, at some point, we were told as ESCOM, we are not gonna give you money to build. Then I said to the team, we need to spring into innovation. But it's also not about innovation, it's also about what we hear from our customers, all our customers, including ourselves. They complain about the electricity cost, right? It is high. And everyone who's coming in, they are also, I've not seen the cost coming down. It keeps going out. So it will take us as ESCOM to lead that downward trends on electricity cost. Why? Because we understand the landscape of power. And we've got what is required. So the ash, very soon you watch the space. With our research teams, we got them to work. We are finding the solutions. We are going back to Komati. Komati's got a lot of ash. It's got a 60-year-old plant, plenty ash there that we didn't know what to do with it. We are going to mine that ash and produce power with it. Yeah? That is the innovations we are looking for from young people. So when you drive around, some of you, have you been, when you used to have mines here in Johannesburg, where it started. You go on N3, N12 towards Benoni, there you see heaps of ash. Driving with N1 towards Soweto there, those heaps of ash. Hey, respect that ash when you see it. Because we are coming for it. It is the next gold for this country. And the good thing is that, to mine the coal from the ground is too expensive. This ash, guess what? It's there. Everyone kick it off. It sees as a nuisance. But I'm saying to you, watch the space. We are going to convert this ash. We will revive all our old stations, including Rocheville here in Jimiston. This is our old power stations. Plenty of ash, on the split of N3, N12. Look on your right-hand side. When you see that ash, you must remember this day. I'm saying this is opportunity. It's a free, what you call primary energy that we have. Something that is for free. So I'm saying to the youth, when you drive around now, look at what is the opportunity of what you see. Because this one we can put it in every station. And we can, what is the word when you keep duplicating things? Is it duplicate? There's a word I'm missing. Replication, yeah. You can replicate, you can put, we listen to some consumers saying, hey, we only want to pay 1,000 rand, not 2,000 rand for power. Then I said to our researchers, I said to our teams in the transmission, that is the opportunity. Let's listen to this community and give them that as the years comes now. But this is the start. We will be putting the first plant. So we first started to push the ash to road. How many potholes, who of you stays in townships? How many potholes have you seen in this country? Or roads that are still, it's everywhere. And you still see it as a problem. That is a problem. You are the problem. That is the biggest opportunity. You drive through rural areas, I still got families there. Dust road. We've got a cheap solution with our ash. You visit one of our power stations in Kusile, we put in road with ash now, driving with coal trucks on it, testing it. You see, the good thing with us in Eskom, we can be our own consumer. So we can test these things. So road and all of those things. So ash really becomes our next goal. So the next opportunity, wherever there's problems, I see opportunity. You heard about Zama-Zamas. Who have heard about Zama-Zamas? A big problem in this country, right? I think I need you to start changing that. Because immediately I start saying to the team, this is a big opportunity for us. Guess what? 6 months later, they put the solution on my table. So now we're going to go to government and say, give us all these problem mines. We're going to change them to national key points, and then we're going to produce power out of them. That's... And there's so many problems that are there in this country. We are going back into the mines. When the mines are saying, we are going out, we are going to renewables, we said we are going inside the mines and produce power, because that's what we do. So it's our young people, we give them these opportunities. It's our researchers, those of you who are academics. We're looking for researchers that take things into applied research. Like I'm saying, the mines was the problem, but now I'm sure Minister Mantashe will like us when we say we've got a solution for you on this. And then we're creating jobs other than creating those mines to be abandoned and all of those things. So there is opportunity, plenty of them. So, and then the other things, who drive around and see the heap of waste, municipal waste, this dump site? Have you seen them? What do you see? The nuisance, plastics around, right? Change your attitude today. When you see that waste, those plastics, ask yourself, what is the opportunity here? Because that's where I am. Then if you are thinking it's like that, you can talk to me. This is it's the next biggest opportunity for us. Plastic, can it burn? Does it have a good calorific value? It's just that it's not used. It can be converted, right? Papers, whatever is there. Ne? So it's a good power source, that one, right? Right? So I think I'm hoping that I'm giving you the message to say, how do you look at the nuisance today and say, this is waste is our big opportunity as a company to turn it into power, something useful. So I'm really hoping that you get a sense of the power of innovation, the things that becomes public nuisance, how we're going to do. There's communities that are really, really poor, but they've got waste as well, that we can assist them with that. It will need young people that, given the opportunity, they can rise into that and create these innovations. And with us, everything must turn into power. And I must say, I'm quite excited with our young people. I've spoken to all of that. I'm hoping that you really got a sense of how we want these transitions. I mean, I can go back now. I'm very clear in my mind. Hendrina is a 2,000 megawatt power station. We can put 2,000 megawatts at Hendrina back in a different form. And not only something that will burn when the sun is up, power that will be there. You see, the current renewables, the mistake we made with renewables, and I've been telling our team that you see now is sun. When we go to the open market, the price of power now is zero. When the sun goes down, the price is 1,000 rand. So innovation is that how do you shift and capture the price? Because producing when everyone is producing is not a lucrative business. And most people have not seen this as well. So we understand the game of the industry. We know what should happen. That's why we are putting in the battery. So I want to share with you what we're doing in one of our old power stations. This power station you will see when you drive on entry towards Durban, those of you who are privileged to use that. There's a plant there called Grootfontein Power Station. We returned this plant when we were running into power crisis in 2000. 2007 there, 9 there. I was the power station manager there as well. So I know that plant and I know the communities around it. So it sought me when I saw we were going to just close it and do nothing. That's why we came with the issue of saying we are not closing down station. We will repower them with ash now. We will repower them because we can put Grootfontein back to 1,200 megawatts with ash. We embrace the wind and solar, but we don't have enough wind here in Gauteng, or but we've got sun as well. So we will use that. So I'm quite relaxed now that when I leave this company, I will leave the youth, the next youth, with a future that says this plant is not going to go to zero, because we are putting in. But we said one of the things, like I said, we as Eskom, we are the biggest consumer of electricity. I don't know if you know that. Not one company that uses power as big as us. So we are our own market. So we've decided we will change Grootfontein, we will manufacture the batteries. You see, when you've got PVs, I said to you the price is zero now because everyone has got power, there's oversupply. Those of you who are economists in the banks, they know when there's oversupply, the price is zero. So for us, we saw that as an opportunity. That's why we were the first company to put batteries in this country, because we understood this. We put batteries in Western Cape, KZN, Northern Cape. Now we said no. Every time we go on tender, right, this price keeps going up. And then the price of electricity, then we said no, we're going to make our own in this country. There was born the 1 gigawatt plant at Grootfontein Power Station. So we are looking at that. I'm not too sure if the video can play, just for you to be inspired of what we are looking for, what we want the youth that is coming forward in the future to really celebrate it. You can play it.
Yes, it's loading.
Oh, it's loading. So while it's loading, this 1 gigabyte, so this light is still gagged because we are still digging. This is what Grootfontein is going to look like, a part of it into the future. And we went around, we started in Mpumalanga. We said every graduate in Mpumalanga around our stations, he shouldn't be at home. So as long as the attitude is right, you're not going to come and be a drunkard in our space. You've got an opportunity in our sites. So this is the battery manufacturing. Our research team is hard at work looking at these technologies for us. We will be going through our approvals now to get it done. We don't want South Africa to continue to be a consumer country. Everything must come from China, everything must come from Europe, everything. No. We've got minerals here. The first phase, we will have a manufacturing plant. And then the team has looked at all the mines around the country. And we found that where is lithium, where is manganese, where is what can use to produce this, even in SADC region. We will create a processing plant at Grootfontein. And then we will make our own batteries. And then we will really bring the manufacturing capability of this country and the SADC region. So Grootfontein is not going to be the same as it was 60 years ago. And we are not going to close it down. We will repower and repurpose it. And there is a future for our youth as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Guys, I think we can clap again. So now we're going to open the floor for Q&A. I'm going to ask my colleagues to just help me with the moving of mics.
Can I have this?
Please be short and precise. I haven't opened the floor. Please be precise so that we allow more questions to come through. I know that you guys were waiting for this opportunity, so please make sure that you give others opportunity. So I see a hand there, a lady with a green. And then it's going to be followed by you, my brother, then the lady. Then
Which one is one?
1, 2, 3. Can you just show of hands?
All right, I'll start. My name is Bheki Nxumalo, a managing director at Impendulo Legacy Group. And thank you for a great presentation because you also exposed us to opportunities. But as you were going through the presentation and some of the initiatives that ESCOM is starting, I actually thought or saw a gap in the market, right? Especially ESCOM is in a highly regulated sector where compliance is a big issue. If you look at what Ubaba Mantashe shared with us early this year, he really highlights the need for compliance training. That's where Impendulo Legacy Group come into play because we provide compliance training. So I want to find out what are the initiatives that ESCOM is investing in to enable someone like me, which is Impendulo, to collaborate with you guys to address that compliance challenge. A lot of people die on site because of not being competent. How do we raise awareness and how can I collaborate with ESCOM to be a voice in that space? Thank you.
Now we can take the three.
Can we have a second question?
Good day. My name is Nalo Matuwa. I'm a candidate at TNE and I'm also a master's candidate, and I look at corporate governance of state-owned enterprises. I am more interested in the leadership and your journey as a leader at ESCOM. You have led at the darkest days of ESCOM, and mine comes at a more personal level. How did you do it? How did you lead at a time where the country and almost everyone didn't have faith in this mighty institution? And what did you use as your driver each day?
Hi, I'm Neo. I am a CASA, and I'm gonna try and ask an accounting or like a finance question, more especially looking at this project that you guys are trying to go into. We know that with projects, there come a lot of uncertainty when it comes to budget and making sure that you meet the budget, because immediately when you don't meet budget of that capital project, and then everything can go south. And we've seen what is happening with Sasol in the US and the project that we're doing in the US. Those are projects that can really make or break a company. So I wanted to check from an ESCOM perspective. I mean, this project looks like one of those projects that's going to need a lot of money. With the loans and that you guys already have, how are you going to make sure that you guys maintain that budget versus actual and ensure that you stick to that capital expenditure that you need to stick to? Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, it's going to affect us.
Thank you very much. Can we have the last question?
Okay. Are we still good?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Tato Wesi. My question is around carbon capture. How far is ESCOM around that? Because yes, we're generating energy, but we're still compliant, right? We still need to be able to be sustainable also in the future. Are you supporting such, especially in the circular economy, because there's a lot of opportunities there as well to reuse the carbon for something else in the agriculture sector, etc. I have interest in that sector. How are you supporting young people to also tap into that? So that we have, at least small projects that are supporting young people and supporting SMEs and upcoming companies. Thank you.
Okay. Can I go for it? No, thank you very much, colleagues, for this. It's quite encouraging to hear young people speak as yourself, but you use the wrong words again today. You're saying there is a problem. But at least you change to say, how do we change it to opportunities? It's really about opportunity, and I'm glad that there is also accountants there because and legal people. The gameplay is changing. What we're doing now as ESCOM, because one of the things that was limiting was this thing to say there's no money, ESCOM does not have money, then it sort of blocked the minds. We started to think differently. These we will be doing them with other partners. You know, there will be, we went out, we asked for, one of the things that we made wrong in this country, which I pick up when I go to every country that has overtaken us. You know, China in 1988, they came here to our nuclear facility in Cape Town, Quebec. They came and learned from Quebec, and then they went back to China and built exactly the same plant as Quebec. China today is ahead of everyone. They don't go back to France. This is a France technology to us. That's what we miss in South Africa. So as we are now building with the partners, to say, we said, who has got this technology to build the batteries? Working with our research team, but we want to have an IP, you know IP? So that we can get this thing done in this country. If you are not prepared to share the IP with us, we are not interested. And we were very clear on that, and it's something that is so fundamental to what we are driving. So the partner that's going to come with here, they will have some money as well. They will not want the project to be late. Because we are saying the first gigawatt, we will be the consumer, but we will want to have a stake on this factory. But we don't want 100%. We are not, if we will be talking to the banks to say how much stakes we want to have here, so that we don't burden the public as well, because that's what limited Eskom for over the years. We will deal with it quite differently and quite aggressively. But again, when you go into partnership, that's why, you know, legal is becoming the greatest. You know, we used to be, generation used to be more engineering intensive. Now it's more legal, it's more finance. That's what we are looking for. We're looking for those CAs, the people that help us with training. We don't know everything. That's why it's going to be about partnership. You know, the good thing, you know, when opportunities thrive, you know, it's not only the bank now. I have unions coming to me, say, Bheki, we've got stack of money. I said, seriously? They said, I said, but it's really the opportunities that is there, but it needs people. But I'm not a finance person, but I know the finance people, they can do their job. My job is to create a vision and to say there's opportunity. You have already spotted the need for training. You said Minister Montashe is talking about the problem. You're seeing it an opportunity to say, how do we train the people to understand this, the value chain of this and all of that. So that's where you guys come in. Obviously, as a state entity, there's a process that needs to be followed, but the legal framework, legal minds, I'm not legal minds, but I know sometimes they delay me when I want to move, but I think you're right, you know, to enter into the partnership, SPVs, you know, there's a new term we are using now. I'm sure those in the banking sector will know that. SPVs and all those are the big name. All I know is that someone must join with us to do these things. We are regulated. I said to the teams, we cannot wait until we are unregulated before we do things. So Eskom is a company, we've got a lot of things that we can do. So legal people are working on those frameworks already, and we're going to need more because there will be a lot of JVs with ash, with roads, with, I just touched on 2 technologies. There is currently on my deck 6 that we want to put in onto this power station. So the questions that you are asking are extremely relevant. You ask about my own journey. You know, it helped when you have started on the ground. You know, like I said, I manage power stations in this company. I manage Matimba, the top plant in this company. I manage that, so I know. So I knew what, and I also knew, having been in this company for 3 decades, I knew what we know. You know, some people were telling us we don't know. You know, I get so frustrated when someone who has never even passed the power station tells me we don't know what we are doing. And sometimes our employees started to believe that. Can you believe the power of a mic? People started to believe that they don't know. I remember the first meeting, I was asking them, how many years have you been in the power stations? There was no one who was less than 15 years on the power stations. Then I said, you allow someone who has never even walked past the station to tell you don't. So it's about creating that belief. You know, the belief is the key, you know. And the belief is yourself. You know, when you were young, writing exam, any student who does not believe in themselves, the chances of passing become very remote. But really, when you have got a strong belief, even something that the lecturer thought was difficult, you just walk over it. So that creation of the belief, you need to believe in yourself. Not arrogantly, but believe that I know something, I know what I'm doing here, and then you get someone to support you. You get a good alignment with the board, with the minister. That's a whole team. This thing requires the ecosystem and communities also playing their part. That's what is required on the game. But we really are looking at all those other issues, finance, business training, and all of those things. We can't do it all as ESCOM. So we need the partners. So opportunities are there. I told you the unions have put some money. They are competing with the banks. So I'm going to be saying who's got a good, what to call this thing. But it's good also when the employees own the asset, because they can look after it directly. So there's less stress, less strikes, and everyone, the projects must happen quicker. Okay, just take some.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we're going to take questions this side.
You know, I was talking to the team this week. The stations that we are closing now, if you just take Komati, if you go back to the early 60s, Komati was emitting over 1,000 milligrams of carbons, everything. And we have brought it down to the lower level, but carbon was the only issue that we have not dealt with. But again, what we are changing now, we are saying coal is not a problem. Again, we are changing the opportunities to say coal is not a problem. The problem is emissions. That is the challenge I've given to the researchers now. I didn't touch on everything, you know, sometimes you must leave it. So that is the next challenge I've given to the researchers now in ESCOM, that coal is not a problem. If the problem is emissions, right? I like some of you are technical people here, then they can create a formula to get those emissions to zero. The particulate emissions, we've got technology now that we will be putting as part of this. That is at 5 milligrams. Coming from 1,060 years ago, at 5. How long will it take us to get to zero? That is the question. Is it possible? Yeah. That's what I've given to the researchers now. Carbon capture, there is a demonstration being done with the Department of Minerals and Energy in Delmas. You know Delmas in Mpumalanga? Is it there? We are doing that because carbon is the most useful product, actually. We need to use that. So once we start to change our attitude to say, how can we use this? Currently, there's an issue with storage and all of those things. But that's what the researchers must do. We need to appoint researchers to focus on that in the next 10 years and fund them, right? To create solutions. For us is to create that platform. That is the start there. I'm still not happy with that solution because I don't want something to sit on the ground like we put ash for 100 years without using it. So now we can get AI to assist us with a quicker decision. So we are, it's a next phase of the work that our research teams are working on that. Some of you, I can arrange through the coordinators as well, that our researchers can just sit with you, those who are having interest, to take you through what we are looking at. But definitely we are looking at carbon. Huge opportunities. These opportunities are just too many to deal with them at once. Okay, I'm not sure how much time we still have. But
yeah, we're going to take three last questions, and I'm asking you to also just shoot them, and then we're going to wrap up. So how many do we have?
Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you
Good
for the talk. My name is Pesi Shendwandwe. I am the process optimization and efficiency consultant, and I also run an NPO. And part of the work is we empower the unemployed youth, right? And so with that, we've kind of been looking at empowering them in terms of finding opportunities in different spaces. And the thing with renewable energy is, so you spoke about your involvement and work with youth, but it seems like it's a space that is a high barrier of entry, specifically because of the tariffs almost that ESCOM charges those who are trying to find other ways of supplying energy. So is the only way that you're working with the youth in terms of hiring them, or are there other avenues and other ways?
Okay, can you hear me now? Hi.
Hello.
I'm Asabella. I'm in the gaming space, I'm in the entertainment space, but yeah, so I asked this question with very little knowledge of the power and energy space. I really, really love the fact that you guys, you mentioned that thing of wanting to see young people employed, which is incredibly remarkable. I'm someone who believes that skills can be taught, but you can't teach passion. So I love that you guys are like, yeah, we're going to take these graduates and we're going to employ them, or if that's what you're saying. I think my question is, it's incredibly remarkable to give young people these opportunities, and I'm so for it. But as a company with so much power, there's so much responsibility, and I think what I'd like to understand is what the process of accountability looks like. Like when things do go wrong, because, like, I know you mentioned something about skills mismatch. Like, what does the process of upskilling look like? How do you actually empower these people to do their jobs well? And when they don't, what does the process of accountability look like?
Okay. Can I quickly deal with this too as well, so that I think the issue about, she spoke about compliance. We are still a government institution. And I think I can proudly say, in terms of the youth companies doing business within the company, I think we are number one. I think I'm yet to be challenged on that. So ESCOM, because for us, it's something that is a given. But where I get frustrated is when people do jobs that does not add value. For me, it doesn't add value that I can come to you to come and give me this bottle instead of me going straight to the. That is, I think that's where we need to change the value chain, that everyone want to supply ESCOM with bread, but no one makes bread or supply with sugar. That is not a business. It's good in the short term, but we really want a value-add business. We want youth companies that can say, can we do in this bedroom manufacturing that we can. That is something that for me, because it's meaningful. It's very crowded, this issue of supply, and it's creating these issues of malfeasance, and then we have to dismiss people. It's painful, it wastes my time to be dismissing people instead of creating opportunities. So I think those are the things to say, look, there is opportunities. Every project that is done in ESCOM is categorized in terms of the youth opportunities for companies. I have companies in Mpumalanga coming to my office complaining, but everyone wants to supply ESCOM with water. I'm saying, but you are increasing the price of electricity and you are complaining because you don't add value on this water. Very few are saying, if you come to me and say, Bheki, we found solution to make this sparkling water, we will produce it, then we can talk. Those are the young people I want to talk to. Those that supply, I leave it to someone else to deal with. But it's a problem, it's not value add. Let's create a value-added value chain, then it will change ESCOM. It will address what she's talking about as well, about accountability. I was saying, sometimes you want to buy water at Matimba, you must issue a tender, then someone in Cape Town tender to supply milk, and they don't even have a gallon of it. They go and buy it somewhere. So those are the issues that frustrate me. I'm not happy with this type of policies as well. Those are the things with compliance. Sometimes compliance, when it has no value, it just increases the price of electricity. It is not helping as well. So I'm hoping that you're getting it there. The appointment, we will get it. Some people are employees. They need to be given a space. Some are entrepreneurs. Not everyone is an entrepreneur. So there must be an opportunity for that. Definitely we will create that, yeah.
Thank you so much, Bheki. My name is Sinazo Mutsema. I'm also a chartered accountant by profession, and I'm from Cape Town. One of the things is I was at Africa Energy Forum and the YS. So I was actually looking forward to hearing you speak, and unfortunately we didn't get to hear you speak. But we did actually get a chance to listen to Minister of Electricity, Mr. Minister Fosienso. What came out was he spoke a lot about the JET and the role of nuclear in the energy transition. Do you think that the optimal energy mix has actually been achieved, and are you confident and comfortable to say this is how far we are, and or if there are any gaps that you think, because you went through a lot of different projects, but so it sounds to me that it's actually still something that's still under construction.
Yeah, I think great question. You know, it's good to have so many accountants, because these are the people who help us to bring us. You know, sometimes we engineers, we get loose with our ideas. But nuclear is one of the things that I didn't talk to. Is definitely, I strongly believe that, I mean, I've been a big proponent of it. You know, this country, we lost opportunity 10 years ago when we were saying nuclear is so expensive and all. It is actually, Koeberg is our cheapest power station in this country. There is no form of power that will ever compete with Koeberg for the next 20 years that is left. Never. I can tell you now, we're still sitting here. Initial investment is high, you know that, but what are the other options? So now we know we go around again. I think we found solutions to finance it. Because you see, the good thing with the country is got no life. Unlike us, I've got to work at ESCOM until I'm 65, then I'm out. But the country's got another, I don't know how many years. And people will always coming in, young people. So the country will always need the power. So nuclear SMRs, what is called modular reactors, part of repowering the old stations, we're gonna use that. Very affordable. Most countries are doing, even Egypt is starting to overtake us across the north here. They're starting to overtake us, because in this country sometimes we put barriers, like we're saying cost is too high, but we don't understand the whole value chain. Nuclear can run for 80 years now. You pay it in 20 years, we've got 60 years of cash cow. Like Koeberg. Koeberg is a cash cow now, at 12 cents a kilowatt. You must have a good power to really compete with that. So I think it's something that is there. We're waiting for the IRP to come back, and I can't wait for that to start. We are starting a big campaign of public education, informed by the cabinet and also by the public, by the portfolio committee, that people in South Africa, they are so scared of nuclear. They don't know that the hospital over the road here has got nuclear. They don't know that. That's why they are so scared, that nuclear lives with us. So we are starting a big campaign of public education first, because we know that there's people who are going to be opposing us with views and all of those things. But definitely, for the future of this country, it will never survive without the nuclear as a base load to take us forward. So thank you very much, colleagues, for giving me the opportunity.
From all of us, Bheki, we'd like to thank you for making time for us. Sorry to giving us smiling.
No,
But yeah, thank you so much for taking us through what you took through. I'm still motivated, and I hope everyone here has been motivated.